This is James Enstall, host of Geek to Me Radio, and I have a mission for you.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
The next time you want to buy something from Amazon, go to geektomeradio.com first and click our Amazon affiliate link. Simply shop like you normally would, and when you check out, a small percentage will go to supporting the show. So remember, the next time you want to search Amazon for the latest Game of Thrones Blu-ray or Sonic Screwdriver, click through from geektomeradio.com first.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Geek to me radio, da 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 da. Domo arigato, geek to me radio, da 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 da.
Welcome, geeks and nerds, girls and boys, to another all-new edition of Geek to Me Radio. Today we are joined first off by Chris Clark from the St. Louis International Film Festival, talking about a special event coming up celebrating him. We'll also be talking with the St. Louis Celestial Intervention Agency, Rob Levy, all about what the upcoming news from Doctor Who will be, and a preview of Dragon Con. Stand by.
We're talking TV, comics and movies, and video games. And if you don't know Star Trek from Star Wars, we'll try to explain. There are 12 doctors for Hogwarts houses, 1 ring rules them all. To be the greatest Pokemon master, you must catch them all. You must catch them all. Try to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
And if you're driving around the greater St. Louis area right now, hearing this on 105.3 FM and 1380 AM, thank you very much for tuning in. If you're streaming us out there in the world via the web, we thank you for finding us there. And of course, as always, if you're hearing us after the fact in the podcast form on Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud, Podomatic, or wherever you get your podcast from, thank you very much for subscribing there and making us part of your day. We have a jam-packed show. We're going to jump right to our first guest, Mr. Chris Clark, a lifelong St. Louisan, big into the St. Louis film scene. He's got a special event coming up. We'll be talking about that as well. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. For full disclosure, I'm wearing a Lord of the Rings t-shirt and Rick and Morty socks, so I hope that makes me fit in better.
That's brilliant. See, that's perfect. We should have you in the studio so we can get a picture of that to show everybody off. So, big St. Louis film. You're graduated. Let's go back to the beginning. Graduate of Webster University.
Yes.
Working in the St. Louis film scene for quite a while between the St. Louis International Film Festival. You've done work with the St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase. Your presence is kind of felt all throughout here every time we do one of these film festivals in St. Louis. Talk a little bit about what started out your love of film.
I think my love of film started as a child, seeing things like Dumbo and Fantasia with my mother in a darkened theater on a Saturday afternoon, and then as a teenager, loved the thrill of going to the drive-in, seeing schlocky horror films and big summer comedies and musicals and stuff. I took a film studies class my freshman year of high school, and that's when I really started to become more serious about my love for the art form of cinema, and really spent a lot of time focusing on that from that point on.
And we've got a big event coming up. It's September 14th. The Mad Art Gallery, which we love the Mad Art Gallery. Tenacious Eats has done their events down there now for the past several months. It's a fantastic venue. And we've got a special event called What a Rush, 20 Years with Chris Clark, co-presented by Cinema St. Louis, Tenacious Eats. It'll be cinema, cuisine. For those of you who are interested, you can still get tickets. I believe they're still available. Individual tickets for $125. If you want to get a table, it's $1,000. Chef Liz is doing the food, so it's going to be amazing food. Talk a little bit about when something like this comes and people honor you for an event like this. It's got to be humbling. Sometimes might be a little embarrassing, but obviously when something like this happens, you've got to feel very proud that you've had such an impact in film in St. Louis that so many people are excited to come to an event like this.
All of the above. I mean, it is humbling and embarrassing because, I'm actually, we're a small staff, so I'm working on an event that honors myself, so that's super weird. But we're a nonprofit, so we have to do, this is a big fundraiser for us this fall, and it's super humbling that people are willing to throw money at this thing, that it's going to be just a great evening of dinner and food. And why we picked that particular film it was the winner of the Audience Choice Award, fresh from the Telluride Film Festival. It was the winner of our Audience Choice Award the very first year that I was the programmer of the festival, when I was still trying to figure out what the heck I was doing. And so it means a lot to me.
And I love it because very rarely does Chef Liz do a Tenacious Eats event where I've not seen the movie. This will be the same kind of a thing. I've not seen Dinner Rush, so I'm very excited. So someone who's not seen the film, what can you tell us about something that's like, give us an idea of what it's about, what we're in for?
It's if you ever worked in a restaurant, one of my close friends and I agree. This is the one film that's got what it's really like working behind the line in a very busy, bustling, cramped kitchen. That all the drama takes place in a upscale Italian restaurant in downtown Tribeca, downtown Manhattan, on one very busy Saturday night. There's some intrigue and some gangsters and a murder or two, and lots of interesting people pop up. Daniello is the owner of the restaurant. Sandra Bernhardt is a food critic who's trying to have a meal unnoticed, but of course she is. John Corbett is a man just kind of sitting at the bar, taking it all in, who may or may not be who he seems, and it's just a lot of fun.
And with someone with your background, your extensive knowledge of film and everything like that, you've been a lifelong St. Louisan. A lot of people, well, I'm going to go to New York, I'm going to go to L.A. Not to just like boast and about how great St. Louis is, but what kept you here?
It's just a wonderful, special place. It's easy to get around. There's so much great food. All the arts are so ultra accessible. There's so much of the art and entertainment scene here that's free. You can go to an outdoor event almost any night of the year in St. Louis. The art museum's free. The zoo is free. It's very green and lush. And, I just like the whole Midwestern aesthetic of just kind of being in the middle of the country.
Yeah, I've always said we're very lucky with all the things there are to see and do. If you're bored in St. Louis, it's your fault because there's always something fun and something to be going on. And this event is sure to be one of those very cool events. So let's talk a little bit about film. If I had to say what was the best movie you've seen so far in 2019, what would be your choice?
Oh, boy, I've just been cramming my head full of things in preparation for the International Film Festival coming up in a couple of months. I'm just going to say that I'm overwhelmed and I can't answer that right now.
All right.
Too many things in my head.
What about all-time favorite comedy?
Oh, boy. Also drawing a blank, sorry.
No, that's fine.
I see so many different things, over time. There are things that I go back to that make me laugh over and over again, but I'm just sort of drawing a blank today, sorry.
There's always those movies, I feel the same way, where I'll go back. There's movies that I should be watching because they're brand new and they're coming out. I'm like, I should probably see that, but I'll end up, oh, look, I'm hitting through the buttons on the DVR and Mrs. Doubtfire's on. I'll watch it for the 900th time. It's just one of those, there are certain movies like that where you just keep going back to the stuff that you really love. It's like comfort food.
Oh, sure. Ocean's 11. I can just watch that. They just seemed like they were having so much fun. It didn't change the world in any way, and it was a remake, but the rock star list of actors in the Soderbergh remake is just so charming, and it just like they're having so much fun. They will watch it anytime. For Christmas, I will watch Rennie Harlan's film with his then wife, Gina Davis, The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, a Christmas movie. It takes place at Christmas time with her trusty sidekick playing by just the, in all his glory, Samuel L. Jackson, with some of the greatest quotables of any action film ever. So I will watch that every year when I'm wrapping Christmas presents. I do have some tradition. The most perfect film of all time, I think, is Being There with Peter Sellers.
Yes!
Seamless end to end. It's not until the end credits where you see the one time where he broke character during the entire filming. It was the scene in the hospital, and he was very upset that they included in the credits, but it just really showed how deep into the character he had been that whole time. Just loved it. I could watch it anytime. Pitch Perfect holds up so very well, to this day. And
Peter Sellers, a comedic genius. I was talking to someone about him not a couple weeks ago about I can't remember. Oh, we were talking about the Pink Panther and the remake that did with Steve Martin. I said it's very hard to top Peter Sellers and anything. But we watched Being There my senior year of college. One of my English teachers made us watch it, and it was the best thing. I was like, how have I not seen this movie before? It was brilliant.
Oh yes, it's beautiful. And to give Steve Martin some credit. He was the only one who could have done it, and one of a more contemporary Pitch Perfect physical comedy, All of Me with Lily Tomlin.
Yes,
is just a super fantastic, sweet movie, and he just owns every scene that he's in. As a physical comedian.
Yeah, obviously that was not to take anything away from Steve Martin, but it's hard to, as I said, top Peter Sellers, especially in one of his best-known roles.
It can't be done. He created that role and just hugged it close, maybe a little bit too long, but just made that just indelible character that just kind of defined him until his end.
And before I let you go, do you have a favorite horror movie? Are you a fan of the horror genre? And if so, what's your favorite horror movie?
I think I have a two-way tie there. I thought the original Halloween was Pitch Perfect in its low-budget glory from end to end, and the original Haunting from the early 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Which you never see. You never see anything. A breathing wall is the only ghoulie you really see, but it's just lighting and shadows and music, and it's just scary as heck. It just gets to you, heart-pounding every single time.
I still have that one on VHS. That's how far I go back.
Boy, there you go. Ancient technologies. Exactly.
Well, I want to remind everyone again, too, this is Save the Date thing. If you want to go to the website, cinemastlouis.org, you can get the tickets from there. This is coming up September the 14th. And it starts at 6 o'clock with a silent auction and cocktails. Guy Phillips is hosting. Our next guest will be Rob Levy. He'll be DJing the event. And they've got me emceeing, but don't let that stop you. Come out and see this event anyway. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be showing Dinner Rush honoring Chris Clark. Thanks so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I look forward to seeing you next month.
Yeah, it'll be a great time. Thanks very much.
Thank you. And we are going to take our first break. We'll come right back talking with Rob Levy all about the upcoming Doctor Who, what to expect from the next season. Stand by.
Hi, this is Alex Kingston. Welcome back. No spoilers, but you're listening to Geek to Me Radio.
And we're back. My next guest has been on the show several times. He works with the St. Louis Celestial Intervention Agency, and he always gets to go down to Dragon Con. He's going to have dinner with David Tennant and send me pictures to make me terribly jealous. Mr. Rob Levy, how are you, sir?
Hi, sir. No dinner with David Tennant. Sorry.
Okay, I feel a little bit better about myself. Okay, thank you.
No. I'm not that powerful. No.
Well, you never know. I mean, it seems like you're always you're getting to moderate all these panels and everything like that. I know you. I think you said you are moderating David Tennant's panel at Dragon Con.
So he's doing two panels. The first one will be nominated by a very good moderator named Tony, and then I will be doing his second one, which I believe is going to be on Saturday because it's only there Friday and Saturday. And that one is pretty simple, probably, very short. Hi, how are you? Welcome to Dragon Con, and then just turn it over to the audience for questions because everybody's probably got 10,000 questions for David Tennant.
And I know they're also going to have Martha from the Doctor Who series, and Donna Noble will be there. We've got a lot of Doctor Who people represented at Dragon Con. You get to go every year. What are you most excited about this year? A bit of a Dragon Con preview, if you will.
So, first of all, Dragon Con is the largest popular culture convention in the U.S. If you want any information on it, way more than I can give you in this short amount of time, just go to their website, dragoncon.org, or check out their social media. But basically, if you're a fan of everything from Star Trek to Star Wars to even iZombie or science fiction writing or filking or anything, it may be the place for you. We should warn you, they have about 86,000 people there. It's in Atlanta. It's on Labor Day weekend. I've been going since 1995, and it is just a whole lot of fun. It's partially, you get to meet a lot of guests and see a lot of people that are in shows that you like, but you also just get to catch up with people you only see once or twice a year, and that's kind of a cool little family thing they got going on too. So there's a whole lot. It's kind of hard to encapsulate it all in 2 minutes. But what I'm looking forward to, I've got the David Tennant panel. I've got a panel with Prima Ajaman and Catherine Tate. I'm looking forward to both of those. But I also, just this week, got the Cobra Kai panel.
Oh, nice.
So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think that'll be kind of a fun little thing. And then I'm doing a panel with some cast members from Once Upon a Time. And I always love doing the Arrowverse panels. Generally, I always end up getting the cast members of Legends of Tomorrow. And this year they've got Matt Ryan and they've got a couple other folks coming, Nick Zago and some other folks. But I've also got on the same panel with them David Ramsey and Colton Haynes, and I think one or two other folks from Arrow as well. So it's going to be a giant CW panel. So I'm looking forward to that too. And then I've got, for their very excellent British media programming, I'm doing 3 just regular Doctor Who fan panels, which I'm looking forward to. And then they have an American classic sci-fi panel, which is really cool. So if you like things like Krull or Saturday morning cartoons or just, anything that's sort of old and nostalgic, that's a place for you. I'm doing a panel on the Batman 1989 movie because it's got an anniversary this year.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm doing in a nutshell. Believe it or not, I know you won't believe this, but I'm doing fewer things this year than I've done in a couple of years past, which will be nice.
A little more time for you to look around and be a bit of a fan instead of working as much.
Yeah, and then also, there is a lot to see, as you know, but there's a lot of research goes into it too, because you have to figure out what you want to see and not see. And the other thing too is if you're thinking about going to Dragon Con and you can't go, they do sell streaming memberships online, which I buy because then that way if I miss something, because I know you and I talked about this, it's like, oh, I really want to go see George Takei at this time, but the cast from iZombie is on at the same time. What do I do? It's a way to get around that a little bit. And, I think since we spoke last too, James, and I don't want to make you feel bad, I believe now they have nearly the full cast of iZombie.
Yeah, well, Rahul Kohli dropped out, I saw. I just looked on the website, so I'm not sure if they added Robert Buckley to kind of make up the difference. But yeah, that's I'm tempted. Believe me, I'm not sure if I'm able to fly down for the day or not just to get it all done on Friday and fly back that night. We'll see what happens.
But the other thing too is that usually if they do one, they'll come back.
Yeah.
Because most of the fans are very accommodating, and most of the guests love it so much they come back. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's insane. I mean, I have to kind of start pacing myself. We're about 2 weeks out, and I've already started, building up the immune system with the emergency and the zinc and all that stuff. Buying the hand sanitizer and getting, there's a lot of people.
You don't want to get the con crud. That's the worst.
Yeah. So there is a lot of sort of prep to it. You have to figure out questions and, kind of do some research. But, yeah, it's a really fun time. And it goes by really quick. I mean, you might look at this thing and go, oh, my God, it's daunting. But I think when you're there, you're like, oh, my God, this is really going by quick. I don't know if that's the case for you or not, but it's like, wow, this just zipped by awfully fast.
Yeah. And I know we kind of mentioned about the Doctor Who. You've got the St. Louis Celestial Intervention Agency, which is here if you're local and you're a Doctor Who fan in the St. Louis area. This is a great organization with which you might want to connect. How can people get in touch with the St. Louis CIA? And I think you have an upcoming event.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool. And you've done some panels with us at Wizard World, so you kind of know a little bit about the club. But we are the oldest Doctor Who fan club in the United States. And we meet usually every month. In the past, we've met at the Buddha Library or libraries around town. And we kind of made an effort this year, the board and the officers, to kind of mix it up a little bit. So we are going to have a meeting, which is going to be next Saturday, a Saturday when we're recording this. And we're pretty excited about it. It's going to be Saturday, August the 24th from 1 until 5, but we're doing it at Apotheosis Comics.
Oh, yeah. That's a great place.
Located 3206 South Grand Boulevard. And they have a Facebook page. You can check them out. You can also check out the St. Louis CIA at their Facebook page, which is Doctor Who's St. Louis CIA, or just type in St. Louis CIA and it'll pop up. But we are going to have trivia, we're going to have cosplay, we're going to have videos, all the stuff we do at a regular meeting, but in a comic book store. And they also have food. They also have, I think, drinks and food and stuff like that. Very cool.
And we also want to talk some Doctor Who with you. We'll probably take a quick break. If you're okay to stick with us for another segment?
Sure.
All right, we'll talk about some of the other stuff. Rob's very much in the know about what's going on with the BBC's Doctor Who upcoming season. We're going to chat with him more about that right after this break. Stand by. This is James Enstall, host of Geek to Me Radio, and I have a mission for you.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
The next time you want to buy something from Amazon, go to geektomeradio.com first and click our Amazon affiliate link. Simply shop like you normally would, and when you check out, a small percentage will go to supporting the show. So remember, the next time you want to search Amazon for the latest Game of Thrones Blu-ray or Sonic screwdriver, click through from geektomeradio.com first.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Hello, this is Catherine Tate. Donna Noble is listening to Geek to Me Radio. Donna Noble has been saved. Donna Noble is listening to Geek to Me Radio. Donna Noble has been saved. Donna Noble is listening to Geek to Me Radio. Donna Noble has been saved.
We are back. This segment brought to you by Marcus Theaters. Marcus Theaters always does great events, too. They had, when the second Doctor's Regeneration, they did the cartoon thing, the full episode, all 6 parts, restored in black and white animation with the original sound of Patrick Troughton, the second Doctor and his companions. But they do these Fathom events that you can do there. They have special events going all the time. Right now, from August 17th, going all the way until Wednesday the 21st, you can see A Boy Named Charlie Brown. Tickets are only $5. You go right to marcustheaters.com for the website to grab those tickets. Find the location closest to you. Sunday Passport, where you can enjoy 4 movies for $20. Any Sunday, September 1st through December 15th, you get your ticket for that as well. 20% off all food and drinks while you're doing it. Marcus Theater is fantastic. They've renovated all the original Warenberg theaters around here. We love seeing Ronnie's. I'm actually seeing Ready or Not at Ronnie's this coming Monday. But I love going to see movies in Marcus Theaters because it's the big, nice, brand new heated seats. You recline back. You can almost fall asleep, but the movies are so good, and they've got that great surround sound. The picture's so clear, you can't really fall asleep. It's a very, very nice experience in which to watch a movie. If you're going to see a movie, if you haven't yet seen something like Where'd You Go, Bernadette, maybe Good Boys, maybe Blinded by the Light, all these great movies that are out in theaters right now, do it at Marcus Theaters. MarcusTheaters.com is the website. Find the location closest to you. Get your tickets all right from your website, and then just go down to the theater of your choice, kick back and enjoy. MarcusTheaters.com. We are joined still by Rob Levy from the St. Louis Celestial Intervention Agency, and he'll be at Dragon Con. Rob's very, very into the know about all things BBC-related Doctor Who. He'll sometimes text me and go, hey, did you hear about this? I was like, well, no, of course I haven't heard about it because you're the first one to hear about everything with Doctor Who. But the new series coming out, and we keep getting different reports of what might be going on. Rob, what have you heard with the upcoming season of Doctor Who?
So I guess we should talk about this weekend. So a lot of us were woken up, sort of like the phones keep going ring, 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 not ringing, but the little notices you get. Mm-hmm. And there were rumors that Chris Chibnall, the producer, either fired or had quit or had walked off the set or all kinds of different rumors. And there's a person in our Doctor Who club who messaged me, he's like, have you heard about this? And I said, no. So I started getting on Twitter and everything. And then you start hearing this and you're like, what the hell? And it's interesting because then you could start, texting and emailing friends overseas. And the rumor mill just sort of spreads way more faster now than it ever did back with the classic series. Mm-hmm. But the basic rumor was that Chris Chibnall was fired or left or quit mid-series, and that Jodie Whittaker was going to quit too, and it was substantiated, and it goes back and forth. And, the general rule of thumb is until you see a BBC press release, don't believe anything. But this thing caught on like wildfire. And it has since been fairly debunked pretty quickly, by a lot of different people. There's a really great article on it in the Radio Times right now. And the thing that was interesting about it, though, James, is that you didn't hear anything from the official Twitter feeds of anybody involved in the show saying, hey, this is a rumor, it's not true. So a lot of folks were like, nobody's saying no, but nobody's saying yes, so what's going on? So right now, we are still going to have a new series of Doctor Who. We still are going to have Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall, the same production team. Everything is pretty much status quo as it was last year. And that's kind of where we are. Nothing else has been unconfirmed by the BBC. They have not really said much about what we're going to see during the season. There are pretty solid rumors that from folks, we believe the Cybermen are coming back, and there could be a wartime French episode this season. Mm-hmm. And those are the two big rumors. The other rumors that, you might see the Santarans again, possibly. But the Jadoon, I don't know if you remember the Jadoon.
Oh, yeah.
David Tennant, they're going to be returning as well. And the series was supposed to have a little bit different tone and a little more folks familiar with the Moffat era or the previous classic era or new series era with Russell Davies. It's supposed to have that kind of more of a feel to it. So it's going to get kind of back to what it was before last season. But it's also supposed to be a little darker and a little more, I guess I would say less preachy. But there are still going to be some elements of that in the stories, I'm sure. But it won't be, I believe, so as overt. And that is kind of what we know so far. But they're pretty tight-lipped with a lot of things, which is great because I like to sort of just turn it on and not know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think we've heard these all the way going back to as soon as the series had ended that Jodie Whittaker wasn't coming back and that Chris Chibnall wasn't coming back. So it seems like it's a persistent rumor that people, and now we're hearing it again before we see the premiere. So I'm not sure why, if this is somebody maliciously starting this or if there's actually some truth to it, but it does make you wonder.
Well, what I'm wondering is, whenever a producer takes over a show and brings new changes and a stamp on it, someone's not going to be happy.
Right.
So that's always sort of how it is. But I think in this instance, there probably was maybe some sort of incident where somebody was upset with somebody about something and it got misread or blown up. I think, I think there has probably at some point been friction between Chris Chibnall and the BBC, and that is probably part of this. But again, I think anytime you have a producer on a show like Doctor Who, there's going to be some sort of friction. I'm sure Russell T. Davies and I'm sure that Stephen Moffat also had some sort of friction at some point with someone at the BBC. But it's just not because we have a female doctor and because we did so much across-the-board change with the show last year, I think it's emphasized a little more. So that's kind of where I think it is. Maybe something did happen and it got blown up, or maybe something did happen and they're in, spin mode, the sort of damage control mode. We don't really know, but we do know that everybody's coming back. And I think it's good to have the show at least have the same producer go all the way through another year. You don't want him to leave mid-series. It'd be like if you quit your podcast right now and got the sports guy to do it. That's kind of what nobody wants that. So it's going to be interesting what Jodie gets with a season 2 and how her character is and the mood and the tone and the pacing and a lot of that to see, okay, you've had a year to make your changes. What are you doing? And usually the second series of a Doctor is different anyway. The second series of McCoy was different. The second series of Tennant was a little different than his first season. So you kind of get a more settled Doctor, so it'll be interesting. The other thing that's kind of exciting is they are going to release a couple DVDs. First, on Blu-ray, they're doing the John Pertwee Season 10 on Blu-ray, which is going to be pretty great. That's the season with 3 Doctors. And it's a pretty great series of John Pertwee's. Then we get the Macroterra, which is a lost episode of Patrick Troughton, much like Power of the Daleks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been completely restored, and that's coming out over here on DVD as well. So that's kind of interesting. And then there's coming out very soon is, I believe, they're doing a Colin Baker Blu-ray as well. So that's also exciting.
I'm kind of wondering if they won't eventually collect and just give you I would probably be $2,000, but if they keep releasing these seasons, but they always do some kind of collector's pack, like at least all of Tom Baker's episodes and all of Colin Baker's. So I'm kind of one of those people. It's I kind of want to buy it now so I can watch it, but I also kind of want to hold off to see if they do a full series of that Doctors.
Yeah, it's interesting how the Blu-rays and the DVDs have find a life of their own. Luckily, with the Blu-ray releases now, they're putting extra stuff on it, and so if you bought all those episodes, But I love having them on Blu-ray because even though they're still bug-eyed monsters and they still look pretty terrible stuff, the resolution on the audio and cleaning up some of the images and stuff, it still looks great. And I like having the full seasons because I think it's a lot easier to sort of watch through. Like those Davison series are a lot cooler to watch, back to back rather than in individual episodes. So that'll be interesting as well. So
yeah, that was how I got into the classic. I started with New Who, and then I was like, well, hold on, we got some of these old ones on Netflix too, back when they were still on Netflix. So I went back and watched, Spearhead and Earth, and some of the other ones from Third Doctor, and got kind of into the classic series. So that was, I agree, having them all to watch in one chunk is definitely better.
Yeah. The other thing they're doing too is Doctor Who's going to be on HBO Now soon. And I haven't really read the specifics on the deal on that yet, but I'm not sure whether that starts after this season or with this season, but it's going to show on BBC America, and then it's going to be on HBO on demand, so you'll be able to get it streaming and then get it also through BBC. But what people don't know is this the new series from now going forward? Is this the old series too, or where are we with that? The other thing is, if you like classic Doctor Who, Pluto TV is now running some of those as well, which is a streaming channel, Pluto. And they're running a lot of the Tom Bakers. They do have commercials in them, but they're running some of the Tom Baker ones. So if you just kind of want to, dip your finger in that water a little bit and not, feel like you're just going to get swamped or overwhelmed by everything, those are a good place to start. Tom Baker's kind of a good gateway, I think, to the classic series because he's so likable. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, obviously voted one of the favorite Doctors several years in a row, even beating out some of the new Who Doctors. Before we let you go, because I know you've got to be on your way, tell people what the best way to find you is online. If people want to read some of the books you've written, stuff like that, where can they get a hold of you? Sure. The other thing I do want to tell people is coming out very soon is the Doctor Who, this is going to sound weird, but bear with me, the Doctor Who Annual 1987. Now, what happened is every year in Doctor Who, they used to release these annuals in Britain for every season. They didn't do one in the 70s for one of John Pertwee's seasons. So there's a really cool company that sort of like pretended that this was the official annual and made their own. Huh. But they write it in the style with the illustrations, the artwork, and everything like it's that manual. Now there's one for 1987 that's coming out, which is going to cover the last season of Davison and the first season of Colin Baker. And I've got an essay in there that I wrote on the Master and the Ronnie. That's coming out soon. And there also are a couple different things on Cosmic Press that you should read. It's KOZMIC. My friend Alan runs that. But there's a Doctor Who Companions book. I've got a thing in that. And the other thing you should definitely check out is the CIA Facebook page, which is St. Louis's Doctor Who Celestial Intervention Agency. That is the easiest way to find us. You can just sign up. It's not a closed group. We don't screen you and ask you a bunch of questions or anything like that. Perfect. And once again, they'll have the big event at Apotheosis Comics coming up. And what was the date on that? That is this coming Saturday, a week from yesterday. And that is at 3206 South Grand. And they've been open, a little while, but they've really sort of made an impact on the comic world because they're doing just a lot of really cool programming. And that'll be this coming Saturday. And the meeting is from 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And it's free. So you can come watch some video, get some news. We're going to have trivia, cosplays encouraged. We have Denise, one of our board members, is a very, very serious cosplayer. And she is going to talk to people. Like if you came in costume, she'd say, hey, how did you make your costume? What is it made from? Charlie, we have a board member named Charlie who's going to run trivia. We have Jennifer, who's on our board, who's our secretary, will be more than happy to give you any information on the history of the club or tell you how to be a member and things like that. So we have a lot of really, really good people that will be able to give you some entertainment. And we're trying to just make the meetings a little more fun, a little more people-oriented, and let folks know we're out there. And we'd love to see you. And it is adult-friendly and child-friendly. So if you want to bring your family, you are welcome to do that. It's not going to be, it's family-rated. So we're not trying to keep anybody away. So if you have a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old and a 17-year-old, and they're all Whovians, you can bring all of them. Or if you just want to come in and browse for a comic and say hi, you can do that too. So, perfect. Rob, always a pleasure to have you on. I'll try to connect you before Dragon Con. We'll talk about what's going on with that. Thank you so much. And we're going to come back, wrap things up, do a little bit of housekeeping. Stand by.
This is Dasher Williams, and you're listening to Geek to Me Radio.
We've got that interview. I just need to find time to play it. It's a great thing to have. It's a great problem to have. Is I've got all these interviews that I haven't had a chance to air yet. We've got, I love having my interviews with the composers we've talked about from different music for different TV shows and movies that we've had on the air. I've got one of those. I've got Dash we've got to play. I've got a great interview with Marvel editor Jim Salicrup. I've got, we spoke with Mark Waid, a prolific writer in the world of comic books and out of comic books as well. I've got all these interviews. I just need to get a time together to play them. But then we have live guests like obviously Chris Clark. This is an event coming up. Rob Levy's want to talk about Dragon Con and Doctor Who, and I love having live guests. It always is a different feel to the show as opposed to me just introducing clips. So it's a great problem to have because I love my guests. I kind of take pride in the fact that I really try hard to bring great guests to you, the listeners. That's, I hope, what keeps you engaged with the show. So we've got Dash coming up. We've got a lot of those other interviews we need to get to very soon, as well as some other live guests who I continue to work on. I want to thank all of you right now because we just crossed the 10,000 mark on Twitter. 10,000 followers on Twitter. So thank you very much to all of you. We're going to have a drawing, a celebratory giveaway of an Avengers copy on Blu-ray and DVD for the new Avengers Endgame. I'm going to do a drawing live on Periscope right at the end of the broadcast, so you'll be able to hear that. I also want to make sure we thank our premier sponsor, the City of St. Charles. It's discoverstcharles.com. That's discoverstcharles.com is the website. They've been with the show since the beginning. They were the first people that I said, hey, we're doing a live radio show. I'm looking for sponsors. Without hesitation, they said, yes, we want to help you. We want to be part of this. I've had a great relationship with St. Charles going back almost 20 years now, working at their Christmas festivals and doing a lot of their interactive stuff, hosting events. If you're looking for an event space, they've got event spaces from between the Foundry, between the banquet center, down at the convention center. They've got all sorts of great places to host events. If you're just looking to take someone out to a fancy dinner, great eateries and restaurants all up and down historic Main Street in a beautiful setting. I can't say enough good things about St. Charles. You can see by going to the website, discoverstcharles.com, all the cool things there are to see and do. If you're out there, we were just talking about Doctor Who with Rob. If you want to get your Jammy Dodgers and Jelly Babies, I always tell people to go to the English shop right there in the 400 block of South Main. And they've got a lot of cool Doctor Who stuff in there. If you're an Anglophile, it's a great store. Great stores up and down the entire district. World-class shopping and dining. We just hit the casino with some of my family that's in town right there, the Ameristar. So there's something literally for everyone to do, and you can do it all. Look at the website, plan your trip. If you're from out of town, come stay. It's a great place to visit. discoverstcharles.com is the website. Very proud, very happy to have them as our premier sponsor going on a little over 3 years now. So thank you to them, and thank you to all the Twitter followers who have been with me, and we're looking to get that 10,000 mark on Instagram coming soon. We're going to take another break, come back and wrap things up right after this, so stand by.
Attention maggots, this is Sergeant Slaughter from WWE and G.I. Joe, the real American hero, and you're listening to Geek to Me. Don't touch that dial, and that's an order.
One of my new 10,000 followers, Sergeant Slaughter, was very excited when he followed me on Twitter. I still get that little every time someone I love and someone who I admire, celebrity who I follow, follows me back. That's always cool. Stick around because we are going to go to Periscope right after this broadcast to do our drawing for that Avengers Endgame on Blu-ray and DVD. Thank you to all. We had a little over 125 people who followed the directions, who retweeted, who posted a GIF of their favorite Avenger, and who followed me. So you have to be doing all three. And some people didn't follow directions, so they got 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 3, which unfortunately is not going to put them in the drawing. So we do play by the rules. So all of you who did everything correctly will be doing that drawing live on Periscope here at the end of the show. I need to get back into seeing, because I know Joey was talking about he's been seeing more movies and TV shows than I have lately. Joey's, I think, did you finish The Boys on Amazon?
I sure did. It's 8 episodes, and you could watch them all in one sitting. I mean, if you are slogging through something to clear out your DVR, like maybe Fear the Walking Dead or something, The Boys is what you need to put on immediately. Greatest superhero show you've ever seen. Most violent.
That's why I hear. It's pretty dark, pretty violent.
You feel the violence, and when something happens, it hits you hard. And
are they hour-long episodes? Half hour?
Yeah, they're
minutes?
hour-long.
Hour-long, okay.
By the same people that did Preacher.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the same people that did the comic and Seth Rogen. And
Garth Ennis was on the comics. Yeah,
Seth Rogen. They produced the Preacher TV show. They produced this show also, and it's pitch perfect. It's good. It's better than any superhero movie that's out right now.
A lot of people have said that, so I'm taking Joey at his word because he's always really good. We usually have pretty similar tastes in movies and TV shows, so that's if you like it, I'm sure I will too.
I know you will love it because you are just so deep into the superhero genre that the way they twist everything on its head is amazing.
So I'm going to have to definitely put that one up. We're seeing Ready or Not on Monday, so we'll have that review coming soon. And then we saw Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I didn't get time to put a review together because I'm really slacking in that. I need to put more reviews up online. But I will say, for those of you who are listening, if you haven't yet seen Scary Movies to Tell in the Dark, or Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, it's a PG-13 rated horror movie. And it plays like a PG-13. So if you're looking at like, oh, that wasn't very scary, keep in mind it's a PG-13 rated movie. And for what it was, it did deliver some kind of chilling moments. Nothing like a Halloween or anything like that that's going to really terrify you. But it was well done. I thought it was well acted. And I thought the premise itself I liked it. It was original. So I'm kind of, and Guillermo del Toro is one of the producers on it. So that's, he usually doesn't do anything that's not good, I feel. Nothing I've ever seen anyway that he's applied his name to has been bad. Was that one you saw?
I didn't see it, but can you imagine what it would be like for a 13-year-old to see it? Do you think it'd be one of their favorite movies or a sleepover type thing that they try and see?
I think it's one of those that's like, ooh, I'm getting to see a scary movie. Because kids today, who knows, they're probably seeing the hard R stuff anyway at this age through social media and YouTube and anything else they want. But I think as a 13-year-old, it's kind of one of those fun, if you're having like a bunch of teens over and, little Johnny wants to have a sleepover and, okay, we're going to go out and see this movie. I think it's okay for something like that. It's nothing too traumatizing. It is a PG-13 rated movie, kind of sticks to those guidelines without ever dipping the toe over into R-rated territory, but it does deliver some genuine scares. But afterwards, I had to think about it. I'm like, yeah, it's a PG-13 movie, which is why I wasn't like terrified. It wasn't one of those movies that kept me up at night like some of the other scary movies I've seen, like The Conjuring or something like that. So yeah, I recommend it. Joey recommends The Boys, but that's a hard R. Probably don't want to let little Johnny see that one. But we're trying to get back to some of the movie reviews, some of the other stuff. Make sure you follow us on Periscope. We're going to do that giveaway. Until next week, my friends.
It's not in the way you watch I zombie. It's not in the way you watch The Flash. It's not in the way you love Scotty Young art. It's not in the way you play Mario Kart. It's not in the way you look when you make Game of Thrones references. That's a show. This is Geek to Me Radio. That's a show. This is Geek to Me Radio.
Thank you, Cardiff. Good night. This is James Enstall, host of Geek to Me Radio, and I have a mission for you.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
The next time you want to buy something from Amazon, go to geektomeradio.com first and click our Amazon affiliate link. Simply shop like you normally would, and when you check out, a small percentage will go to supporting the show. So remember, the next time you want to search Amazon for the latest Game of Thrones Blu-ray or Sonic Screwdriver, click through from geektomeradio.com first.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.